Hi everyone and welcome to Imperfect Knots. So on today's video we are going to just learn how to do a basic granny square. So I have some here. I have millions of granny squares because I like to use up my yarn and make granny squares. So as you can see, you can do all different shapes and sizes. You have nice little small ones, various patterns. You see a nice fancy pattern there, something to work towards. Any colours, any style of yarn, any size of yarn. It's all about your personal preferences really. But we're going to show you how to do the basic granny square today. So you're going to need a hook. I have a 4mm hook, my favourite size hook. You will need some scissors, obviously to cut your yarn off at the end when you finish off. And you'll need a tapestry needle to weave in those pesky ends. And so let's get going. So if you grab your yarn, I've got a nice green today. So like I say, it can literally be any yarn, any colour, any size. It really doesn't matter for a basic granny square. So you need to make a slip stitch to start off with. So the way that I do mine is I wrap it around my finger like this, make like a little crisscross under my finger, come over, and then I just pull that back loop over my finger, and there's my slip knot. And I attach that to my hook. Okay, so to start, we need to chain 4. So we're going to go chain 1. Oh, all fingers and thumbs this morning, look. That's no good, is it? 2, 3 and 4. So you've got 4 chains on your hook. We are then going to slip stitch into that first chain. You see that there? So we're going to insert our hook through that first and pick up our yarn, and we're just going to slip stitch. So we're going to pull it through and then pull it through the stitch that's on the hook. Okay, so you should have a nice little circle. Then we are going to chain 3. Now this is going to count as our first treble crochet. Now I work in UK terms, so obviously US that's a double. So there's our first chain 3, which I say counts the treble. And then we're going to do 2 more trebles into the centre of this circle. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the centre. You can find that. Pick up our yarn over, and then we're going to pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. I'm going to do that again. So that's 1. The first round is always the worst and fiddliest round. So for this round, we're always going to be working into the centre of our circle. Pull through 2. Okay, so then essentially we've got 3 trebles into that circle. So we need to do the corner, and on this round we're just going to chain 2, which is what's going to create our corner. And then we're going to do 3 more trebles back into the centre of our circle. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Now one of the things I do, because obviously you've got your tail, I try to bring it with me so that as I'm going, you kind of end up naturally weaving it into your work, which saves you a world of pain at the end. So that's 2 trebles. We need to do 1 more treble. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then again, we need to work another corner, so chain 2, 1, 2. And again, 3 more trebles into that corner. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, that's 2, and then 1 more. So yarn over, insert your hook, bring through, pull it up a little bit, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We need to make another corner. So chain 2, 1, 2, and then again 3 more trebles into the center of that ring. And you should start to see, there's 1 treble, there's 2. You'll start to see your square forming. And then to finish off this round, there's 3, we are going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of our first chain 3. So 1, 2, 3 stitches, or 3 chains, sorry. Insert your hook into the top, pull through, and then pull it through. And there you have your first round complete. Okay, so for round 2, just get some more yarn. We're going to turn our work, so just literally turn it. Now we're going to slip stitch into this first corner space here. So get that tail out of the way. Insert your hook, pick it up and just pull it through that stitch. It doesn't count as anything, it's just to turn our work. I find it easier to turn my squares. I know some people don't. I just personally prefer it. So we're going to chain 3. So this is round 2, so 1, 2, 3. And again, that's going to count as our first treble. And we're going to do 2 more trebles into this corner space. So there's 1 and there's 2. Okay, and then we're going to move across to our next corner space here. So you've got a cluster of 3 trebles and then our corner space. And now to work the corners fully, you're going to do 3 trebles. So 1, all into this corner space, all into the same space. 1, 2, and 3. And then you are going to chain 2. So 1, 2, and then you're going to turn it slightly. So again, you're going to be working along this edge. And we're going to do 3 more trebles into that same corner. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, there's 1. So then we're going to do 2 more, 2, and 3. And then we're going to move over to our next corner space. So round 2 is all about filling out these corners really. And then you'll really start to see your square coming. So again, 3 trebles, 2 and 3. We're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and it will naturally turn as you go. And we're going to do 3 more trebles into that same corner space. 1, 2, and 3. Put up some yarn. Whoops. And then again, we're going to come over to our next corner space. Work 3 trebles, chain 2, and work 3 more trebles. So there's 1. Oops, that's okay. That was a half treble. And the great thing about crochet is if you go wrong, you can undo so easily. Chain 2, and then 3 more trebles. 1, whoopsie, 2, and 3. There we go. And then we're going to move into our next corner. Now this is the corner that we started in, so it's already got 3 trebles in it. So all we need to do for this corner, oh, that was a stitch, oh dear, unhook, there we go, is we're going to do 3 trebles. So 1, pull through, 2, and then 1 more, are going to chain 2, and we're going to, again, like we did in the last round when we finished off, slip stitch into that top of our initial chain 3. So I'm going to slip stitch into here, put it through, and then just pull through, and there's your slip stitch, and there is round 2. Don't worry about your tail, we'll deal with him at the end. Okay, so that's round 2. So we're going to turn our work, and as before, we're going to slip stitch into our corner, and then we're on to round 3. So for round 3, it's slightly different because now, we're going to start with a chain 3, but yes, we've got more gaps to now start to fill. So we've done our chain 3, which counts as our first treble. We're going to do 2 more trebles into that corner space. So there's 1 and 2. Now, as you look across, we now have this gap between this cluster of 3 and this cluster of 3. We have a gap, so we're going to work into this gap. So come across, we're going to do 3 trebles into this gap. So yarn over, insert your hook and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, that's 1 treble, and then again 2 more. So now, from now on, we're going to start to fill our gaps. And each time as your squares get bigger, the number of gaps there are to fill obviously increases. So that's the gap. And then we're going to then work our corner, which, if you remember, is 3 trebles, chain 2, and then 3 trebles all into that same corner space. So there's 2, there's 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and then 3 more trebles into that same space. 1, 2, and 3. And then, as before, we have that gap to fill between our 2 clusters. So we shall work, get some more yarn, 3 trebles into that gap. So there's 1. And as you can hopefully see, there's 2. Oh, I fluffed that one up, didn't I? You should start to find it slightly easier. Now that it's getting bigger, this is the thing that I always find whenever I crochet. The first rounds are always the hardest because they're fiddly, because there's nothing to hold on to. Let's work our corner. So 3 trebles, 2 chains, 3 trebles. But yeah, it's easier to hold, easier to maneuver, and easier to work with as it gets bigger, which does then make life a lot easier. Chain 2, 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. And then again, we're going to fill that gap between the 2 clusters with 3 trebles. Great thing about granny squares is they are lovely and repetitive. So once you get it, and they are the easiest thing in the world. And you can do so much with a granny square. Also, you can just keep going and just have one giant granny square blanket if you wanted to. You can make multiple granny squares to make a blanket, a bag, cardigan, all other sorts of clothes. Just so many things you can make with a granny square. And it just opens you up to a fabulous world of crochet projects, just from doing these simple yet effective little things. I love making a granny square. So again, let's fill our gap with 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. And then our last one, So again, we're back in that corner that we started in like before. So we're just going to do 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, 1, 2, and then join into the top of that initial chain 3 with a slip stitch. And there you go, there's round 3. Okay. Now from now on it's easy because it's literally what we've just done. There's just going to be more of these gaps to fill in the middle on the rows. So when we do a granny square, a nice size for a granny square is about 5 or 7 rounds. So this one here is 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is only 4. But it's quite chunky yarn. So again, that's 4. But 1, 2, 3, yeah. But a nice 5 to 7 is quite a good size. These are chunkier. So we're going to make, because this is thinner wool, we're going to do a good 5 rounds with this one. So if you remember, so we'll do round 4, turn our work, slip stitch into that corner, chain 3, and 2 trebles. Oops. 1 and 2. And then we're going to have now 2 gaps to fill. So like before, you just move across and we're going to do 3 trebles into there. 1, 2, 3. So go ahead and pause the video and just keep working your way round. So 3 trebles into the gaps. And then when you get to your corner space, it's 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles all into the same space. And remember with the last one you come to, you only need to do 3 trebles, chain 2, and then join with your slip stitch to create that last one. And obviously remember to turn your work. So go ahead, work your rounds to a size that you're happy with for your yarn, and then come back and I will show you how to finish your square, how to fasten off and finish your square. Okay, I'll see you at the end. Okay, welcome back. So hope you've done as many rounds as you want to do. So I've done 5 rounds. So as you can see, just count the clusters, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a nice 5 round granny square. So to finish off, so you've done your last chain, 3 trebles, you've chained 2 and you've slip stitched in. If you then just chain 1, I'm just going to keep that stitch in there, and obviously get your scissors, snip off your tail and just pull it all the way through, and then pull nice and tight, and you just need to weave in your end. I absolutely loathe weaving in ends. Now this is just the way that I do it. Obviously you will find your way, but I kind of just poke it through and turn it over, and then you just kind of want to just weave it through a few of the stitches where you can see them, just to make that end nice and secure so you don't come undone. Like I say, this is the part I hate. And then come back in another direction. There we go. Pull that through. So just kind of give your corner a wiggle, and then just snip off that end. And then also while you're here, you can snip off our tail from the beginning. And there you have it, a granny square. And like I say, once you have mastered the art of a granny square, the world is your oyster. Now this is obviously just one pattern. This is a good pattern to start with for a granny square. There's lots of different styles you can do. So this one doesn't have the clusters. So this one has our clusters with our gaps. This one is continuous. So once we do our initial square, you then start going into every stitch. Your corners are the same of the three trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles, but you just go across. Actually, what am I saying? This is why I'm imperfect. Look, when you do the block ones, your corners are actually 2 trebles, chain 2 and 2 trebles. And the reason being because you're going into every single stitch. So that's a good one. And then obviously you can then do all sorts of fun patterns. It's quite fast back. It's a nice pretty one. So again, lots of different styles, lots of different yarns you can use, but just have a go, okay? And if you look at various tutorials that I'll be doing as well, I'll show you how to do one of these. There'll be a tutorial for one of these and a tutorial for one of these coming soon. So enjoy, let me know how you get on, and I'll see you soon. Bye.